Hello, kids. Welcome back. Hope you are well. Let's start today's story, where I will also talk about Lord Krishna. The small hut where the Pandavas lived was filled with silence. Kunti stared at Draupadi, realizing what her words had caused. Her voice trembled. I, I did not know what you brought, my sons. I spoke without seeing. But in those ancient times, a mother's spoken words were sacred. The sages who were present said, "What is spoken with purity becomes destiny." Draupadi's heart was beating fast. This was not what she expected. She had come with Arjuna, and now she was destined to marry all five brothers. But Draupadi was no ordinary woman. With grace in her eyes and strength in her heart, she stepped forward and bowed. I accept what destiny has written for me. As preparations for the wedding began, a chariot approached, decorated with peacock feathers and golden bells. Inside sat Krishna, the prince of Dwarka. The moment he stepped down, it felt as if the world glowed a little brighter. His smile carried warmth, his eyes carried wisdom, and his presence carried divinity. He embraced the Pandavas lovingly. He blessed Draupadi. "May your life be filled with strength, devotion, and purpose," he said gently. This was the moment the Pandavas found not just a friend, not just a guide, but a protector chosen by destiny itself. Far away in Hastinapura, news arrived. The Pandavas are alive. They have married Draupadi. They have returned stronger than before. Duryodhana's fury shook the palace. What? They survived? And now the greatest kings support them? His jealousy burned like fire. Shakuni whispered, "This is dangerous for us." But Bhishma and Vidura stood before King Dhritarashtra like pillars of truth. The Pandavas have a rightful claim. If you deny them their share, disaster will follow. Dhritarashtra, blind in sight and troubled in mind, knew they were right. To prevent war, King Dhritarashtra announced, "Let the kingdom be divided." The Kauravas would rule Hastinapura. The Pandavas would receive land. But what land? Khandavaprastha, a barren, dry stretch of wilderness filled with thorny bushes, wild animals, and poisonous snakes. Vidur informed the Pandavas about the decision. Bhim was upset, Arjun felt disappointed, but Yudhishthira calmly reassured his brothers. The moment they stepped into Khandavaprastha, they realized how harsh their challenge truly was. The ground was cracked and dry, like an old clay pot left in the sun for too long. The wind carried dust instead of fragrance. Everywhere they looked, there were thorny bushes, endless, stubborn, and sharp. Tall, twisted trees stood like dark shadows with no leaves, their branches reaching out like claws. Yudhishthir spoke gently. "Brothers, greatness is not in what we receive. Greatness is in what we create." Krishna smiled at his words. "Land is only as barren as the heart of the person who sees it," Krishna said softly. "Where some see wasteland, others see possibilities." And with that, everything changed. The Pandavas began their work. Workers arrived from nearby villages. Carpenters, potters, masons, gardeners, all inspired by the courage of the Pandavas. The sound of tools echoed through the air. Hammers tapped like rhythmic drums. Wooden carts rolled in, carrying stones, bricks, and timber. Bhim pulled out giant trees with his bare hands, the roots flying into the air. Arjun used his arrows to shape the land, clearing paths by burning bushes and guiding water to flow in the right direction. Nakul calmed frightened animals and moved them to safer places. Sahadev worked with farmers, teaching them how to enrich the soil. Krishna walked among them, offering wisdom, laughter, and hope. Weeks passed, months passed. The barren land began to breathe again. Small streams appeared, then ponds, then gardens. Green leaves sprouted where only dust had lived. Flowers bloomed in colors no one had ever seen. Fruit trees swayed gently in the wind. And then came the palaces. Magnificent structures rose from the ground, marble floors glowing in the sunlight, golden pillars standing tall like hopeful dreams, crystal clear fountains dancing in the courtyards. Kunti was overjoyed to see the transformation. She helped Nakul and Sahadev plant saplings, flowers, and fruit trees. People gasped in amazement. What magic is this? How did a desert become heaven? The Pandavas had worked tirelessly under the guidance of Sri Krishna to make this happen. They looked proudly at the beautiful city they had built. They all thanked Sri Krishna, and he smiled and blessed them. Draupadi was filled with happiness. Khandavaprastha transformed into a jewel of a city. Indraprastha, a city so divine, even the gods looked down with admiration. The Pandavas finally had a kingdom worthy of their greatness. So kids, what do we learn from today's story? Even barren land can bloom when guided by courage, unity, and wisdom. Greatness is never given. It is built with hard work and hope. Keep working hard toward your goals and keep having fun. Jai Shri Krishna.